Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here or you have been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so, along with turning on the notification bell so you know when I drop these videos or random videos. And thumbs ups. Very much appreciate the thumbs ups along with your comments. Comments are incredibly important, especially now with the state of the Knicks right now. And right now we just watched the 62nd game of the season. The Knicks lost. Painful. And let's get to it. Here we go. They lost 123 to 108. And the Knicks now dropped to 12 games under 500. They're 25 and 37, 13 and a half games back. Painful. I'm honestly kind of, this is where I'm at right now. Season is over. Yeah. As I was preparing for this, the recap, I have to prepare a lot of elements and stuff for the recap. I managed to listen to THIBS' post game and listen to Julius's post game. Now, this is what came out of THIBS' post game, and it was a tweet by Fred Katz. Thankfully, he put this out. Tom Thibodeau on continuing to play without a point guard. That's the best we have. So that's what we're doing. And they're capable. I'm more concerned about our defense than our offense. We scored plenty of points. Well, guess what? The point guard you chose to put on the floor was part of the defensive collapse. Yeah. So if that point guard was giving you points, then maybe the score doesn't get so out of hand. Maybe you give yourself a chance to win at the end. Also, maybe that point guard can play better defense than the one you currently have on the floor right now. And this is not to pick on Alec Burks. He's not a point guard. He's not a great defender. It's not like we're looking at an all-NBA defensive guy. That his whole life, that's what he's about. He's not, Matisse Thybulle or, PJ Tucker. He's not that. He's Alec Burks. He's a nice defender. Capable. Capable is the word that THIBS used. This is it. THIBS has to go. He has to be fired. No more can we continue with this. He's obviously delusional. He's reached delusional level right now. To think that capable is enough to compete in the National Basketball Association against teams like the 76ers that have aspirations of winning the whole thing, against Miami Heat, who also have aspirations to win the whole thing. Who are you kidding other than yourself? Because you're not fooling any of us. And I feel terrible for Burks. He's not in a position to succeed. Tonight, Burks and Fournier. Fournier, he had a bad game. Fournier recently, up until tonight, he was shooting 41.3% from the three-point line. But tonight, he shot a goose egg. And we'll go to it right now. In fact, I want to look at we'll go to it right now. You can see Fournier shot 1 of 8, 0 for 5 from the three-point line. But look at Burks. 2 of 11. 1 of 4 from behind the three-point line. He did get 7 rebounds, which is nice. 4 assists. At least this time he got some assists. But what is it that we're talking about here? Burks was a minus 14. A minus 14. He played 31 minutes. Deuce played 1 single minute, came in, drained a three-point shot. In garbage time, I know, but still, doesn't matter. Three-point shot is three-point shot. He made it. The guy, I don't know what he's thinking about. Burks and Fournier combined for 3 of 19, 1 of 9 for a three-point line. Those were the starting guards tonight. Now, Fournier, he played less minutes than he normally does, 27 minutes. We got a lot of Cam Reddish, which was nice, 23 minutes for Cam. Look, 3 of 6, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. We'll go to the highlights right now while we talk about this stuff. The first half was a tale of two halves. The first half, the Knicks were phenomenal. They scored 62 points in the first half. But that last 3 minutes, the last 3 minutes of the first half told the story. You could see the Knicks at one point, we had a 16-point lead. The Knicks at one time had a 16-point lead and lost by 16. No, lost by 15 or 16, almost. But they ended up, they lost by 15, but they were down 16 at one point. That's a tremendous swing, a 32-point swing. And for the last 27 minutes of this game, the Knicks were outscored by 27 points. The last 27 minutes of the game, the Knicks were outscored by 27 points, 76-49. The Knicks shot 36.7% through that stretch. Three-point percentage was 23.5%. Free throws, 64.3%. Meanwhile, the Sixers shot 52.4% from field goal percentage, 54.5% from the three-point line, 90.9%. They hit 20 of 22 free throws. The Knicks missed 5 of their 14 attempts in the second half. We need a guy, a coach, or a woman, doesn't matter, who focuses on developing this team and setting this team up for next season. I feel like the players, well, as Fournier said, in the fourth quarter, they've lost confidence. They're not connected. And a lot of it is because they don't know who should lead. And there was a moment there where RJ was given the reins, but they kept kind of giving it back to Randall. And Randall, even though RJ and Randall had a sensational first half, the two of them, the second half, no, they putted out. RJ still delivered points. RJ, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. This is his 8th 30-point-plus game of the season. His 8th of the season. The kid that's the best story that we have here. The best thing that's going on for the New York Knicks is that RJ Barrett is the real deal, and he's delivering night in, night out. In the last 6 games, though, that he has played, which has been spread out over the last 10 games because he missed some time, he's averaged 40 minutes per game. In the last 6 games, 40 minutes per game. He is averaging 28.3 points per game and 39% from the three-point line during that stretch. But those minutes catch up with you, and you can see in the fourth quarter, you don't have the same level of defensive intensity because the dudes are tired. They're just tired. And then when you're tired, what happens when you're tired? You kind of lose focus, right? You're not totally on point. You're not sharp. And that's what happens. The other team starts picking you apart, especially, guys like this. And Maxey just went off. Maxey was phenomenal in that second half. He just torched the Knicks in that second half. And he actually was, because, obviously Embiid and this thing went around already. Here, let's go to the second half. Obviously Embiid and Harden, were phenomenal. They're going to give you all the offense you need and defense from Embiid. But Maxey in that third quarter and early fourth quarter just was a difference maker, which is sad because IQ had a nice first half, but the second half wasn't so sharp. In fact, let's just go to here. You can see here. Look, see how the score was in the beginning of the third quarter. So this is before. They were already giving up this lead. They were already giving it up. Oh yeah, my God. Now, I didn't really expect us to win this game. I didn't expect us to win the last game based upon how the way we have been playing. The Knicks have now lost 16 of the last 19 games. Just drink that in. 16 of the last 19 games. Last year, I don't think we went further than a 3-game losing streak. We have now just completely nosedived. We are completely just in a total free fall. And the only upside is that we're going to get a better position in the lottery, and that's good. But if this coach THIBS is still the coach, we're going to waste that pick. We're probably going to end up, for all we know, we're going to end up trading that pick for some player to come in here to try and prop this thing all back up again next season, and that is the last thing that I want to do. Unless that player is a game changer. Unless that player is like a Donovan Mitchell or Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, a serious top 20 player in the NBA. If he's not, we keep the pick. If it's a top 5 pick, bring in one of these tremendous players that are out there. Chet, Paolo, Jabari Smith, Jaden Ivey, even Johnny Davis is looking good. There's a couple other guys that are also looking pretty good. Ben Mathurin. But what good are they? What good are they if they're going to be stuck in a THIBS system where the rookies have to claw their way into this lineup even when we are free falling? What are you defending, THIBS? Are you afraid that we're going to lose by 40 instead of 16? Who cares? A loss is a loss. The truth is, we really didn't have any chance of winning this game. You could tell we were never going to win this game. Even when we were up 16 points, once you saw the lead get dwindled down at the close of the first half, the close of the first half, there was once a 16-point lead. By the close of the first half, I believe it was down to, what was it, down to 62 to 45. Oh, look at that. We still had a pretty decent lead at that point. It was 62-55. What am I talking about? 62-55, 7-point lead. So they had shaved it by 9 points by then. And then once a team like that gets that kind of confidence, and plus they already kicked our butts, on Sunday in that fourth quarter, they knew they could pull it off. In fact, even though we had a bigger lead tonight, in the other game, we only had a 3-point lead. That was the biggest lead we ever had on Sunday. Tonight, we had a 16-point lead. Even by then, we were still in the game deeper in the game on Sunday than we were tonight. That's how out of hand that third quarter got. In fact, let's go look at this. You can see here, there's the game flow. We just completely flatlined and didn't score for like a 4-minute stretch. And meanwhile, they just kept hitting threes. Maxey, George Niang hurt us. The randoms. Maxey's not a random, but the other guy, it's always the other guys that hurt us. And then THIBS has the audacity to say this. Look, man, I want to know what Deuce has. Miles Deuce McBride, in his G League, all of his G League stats, he's averaging 29.4 points per game. It's almost 30 points a game. 5.6 rebounds, almost 10 assists, 9.6 assists on 50% shooting overall. 50%. And, finishing at the rim. 3-point percentage, 53.5%. A 53.5% 3-point percentage. I'm sorry, is the G League 3-point line closer in than the NBA line? No. So what are we doing here? His field goal percentage is 61.3%. And he's a real point guard. And he's a tenacious defender. He's an excellent on-ball defender. What's going on in there, brother? THIBS, I'm talking to you. Are you just so incredibly entrenched in your mindset that facts are irrelevant? It's shocking, man. Burks in the last 5 games. Alec Burks. Again, not to pick on the guy because he's being he's a duck that's being asked to be a swan. That's not him. He doesn't have the, he's averaging 30.7% from the field overall. The 3-point line, from behind the 3-point line, 26.3%. Tonight, he would get to the bucket and he couldn't even finish. He had no lift. He got blocked a bunch of times. He looked like that version of RJ that was freaking us out when he was getting blocked left and right constantly and couldn't finish at the rim. But guess what? Guess how many minutes Burks has been averaging in the past 5 games? 30.4 minutes. Yeah. We don't need that. We need someone who actually understands how to run a team and run an offense, or has the ability already but needs to learn how to do it and finesse it on the NBA level like Deuce McBride. Earlier in the pregame show, we talked about what that tweet that Tommy Beer put out. Here we go. 39 players that are rookies have logged more minutes than Deuce McBride this season. Here, Herb Jones, drafted 35th, is averaging 30 minutes per game. Ayo Dosunmu, drafted 38th, 2 picks after Deuce, averaging 26.2 minutes per game. Kessler Edwards, 44th pick, 23 minutes. Aaron Wiggins, the 55th pick, averaging 22 minutes. And Deuce has gotten 3 minutes total in the 3 games since the All-Star break. All losses, by the way. All losses. And I just read you what Burks has been doing. If I were Burks, I'd be pissed. He's making me look bad. And you're also reducing our ability to trade the guy later on in the offseason. Obviously, we can't trade him now. Trade deadline's over. But in the offseason, you're degrading our asset by putting him in a position that he cannot thrive. We've already been down this road before, but you keep going back to it. It's maddening. And the only relief that we can get from it is Leon Rose letting Tom Thibodeau go tonight. He has to fire him. By tomorrow, by the next game, whatever. I know they're on the road. Fire him on the road. He doesn't have to ever come back to the Garden. Hand the keys to Johnny Bryant or Kenny Payne, whichever one you want to choose. Maybe Kenny Payne, because he might take that Louisville job, and then he can go there, and then Johnny Bryant will be able to start fresh in the summer. Oh, however you want to do it. I don't even care about that part. We just need to remove Tom Thibodeau. He is standing in the way of the development of our players, and that is all that matters, because this season is over. I heard Julius, he was like giving Berman a hard time because Berman was asking him about the play-in and all that stuff, how it looks like, they're kind of out of the play-in. He goes, what do you mean we're out of the play-in? Mathematically? Yeah, he actually had the audacity to say, you've lost 16 of 19. What are you talking about, Julius? Well, what kind of delusion are you facing? You're on a 7-game road trip right now. Then you just lost the first one. The next one is against the Suns. You got the Clippers. You got the Kings. Hopefully the Kings you can beat. You got the Mavericks, Grizzlies, and then the Nets. We'll be lucky to get 2 out of those 7 games. And we've already lost the first one. We'll be lucky to get 2 out of those 7 games. And then after that, we have the Trailblazers, which it should be a winnable game, but we lost to them before. We got the Trailblazers, and oh man, what's next? We have the Jazz, the Hawks, the Hornets, the Heat again. We get a little relief with the Pistons, but it's in Detroit. And then we have the Bulls at the Garden, but it's the next day after the Pistons game in Detroit. So and then we have the Hornets. This thing doesn't get easier. You're out of it. You're mathematically out, basically. You're not mathematically out, but you are logistically out of this thing right now. There's just no way that you're going to make the play-in, and just hearing you talk about it disgusts me. Because that ship has sailed. This is why I was so angry 2 months ago when you guys were shitting yourselves. Especially you, Julius. When you were playing like total crap. Averaging, 14, 12 points a game, giving us, scoring under 10 points several times. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you woke up for a stretch, but it didn't matter. You're still losing, and your defensive intensity is trash, especially in the second half, man. Especially in the second half. Now, being tired can't help that, I'm sure. And that comes down to the rotations. Now, I want to look at this thing here before we wrap this up. Here's the first half. RJ played 21 minutes in the first half. Nice, 19 points, 6 of 12, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, 5 of 5 from the... he actually hit, I think, almost all of his free throws today, which was fantastic. And look at Julius, 7 of 15. He didn't hit a three-pointer, but he also... he did hit 2 of 3 free throws. But 16 points. But look at him. He was a -1. And you can feel it because the way he was trying to get his points were not in the flow of a healthy offense. Okay, Burks, 16 minutes. Same with Fournier. 4 points out of the starting backcourt. And that didn't happen until late like midway through the second quarter. Long stretch without it. We did get to see some Jericho Sims. I thought he played a nice game, though. I mean, he's got to battle that Embiid beast, which is rough. Same thing for Mitch. But Cam got 7 minutes in that first half. 2 of 3, hit a nice 3-pointer. 5 points. He even had a nice assist. I don't know if he got credit for a steal in the first half, but he definitely played decently in that first half. Then the second half, he played 15 minutes. That's fantastic. I'm glad that happened. And that happened because Fournier was so off tonight. So off. So at least we saw some kind of like ability to pivot and play the guy who should be getting minutes when another guy is not. Unfortunately, he didn't do that with Burks. It would have been nice for Deuce to have gotten a bunch of those. Look, Burks played 14 minutes in the second half. 2 of 7, 1 of 3, 6 points, 2 assists, 1 steal. But all of that, you can get all of that offense and not more from Deuce and get better defense from him. Quickly overall, Quickly did play. Let me see what his stats were, his totals. Quickly finished 11 points, 4 of 7, 1 of 3. Yeah, but there was that second half. He really struggled with that. Oh, man. All right. So that's it. I think every game that Tom Thibodeau continues to be the head coach of this team is a waste. And it's going to negatively impact the development of the younger players on this team. That's my opinion. That's my take on this. I mean, the eye test says it all. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit the thumbs up buttons and drop your comments. I will be beating the Fire Thibs drum continuously until the end of this season, and even afterwards if he's not let go. He's not the right guy for this team anymore. Maybe he never really was, and last season was an aberration because of, you know, the situation, the pandemic, Julius just going, you know, having one of the most amazing seasons ever. You know, the best Knicks statistic season ever for a player. So those are the factors. But that was an outlier. And now we're seeing what is really happening. And in my opinion, these players should be delivering wins. And they're not, because they're not being managed and coached correctly. Okay. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.